Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski here with Adam Atkinson. We're still going to move through the phases of contest dieting. Talked about the transition phase last week. We're going to move into what I call the core phase. For lack of a better term, Adam, it's just because that's the grind. That's the 2, 3, 4, 5 months where you're just trying to lose a pound or two a week and not a lot is going on. You're not making knee-jerk reactions like you said last time. Your metabolism is probably going to be pretty stable until you start approaching your metabolic set point. Is there anything in your mind that really kind of defines your work with a client in this core phase?
Yeah, the core phase is more the bulk of the prep for the most part. So I would say this is where, a lot of our moves happen. You're figuring out the client, how they're responding to refeeds. Are they storing glycogen for 2 days and then they're back into a fat loss phase just from that extra storage? Because we know we have to deplete that glycogen before we get into that third metabolic position where we're burning body fat. But really more so just monitoring the client, making proper changes with protein, carb, and fat intake, which I'm sure we're going to do another series on as well. But just making those manipulations, tweaking refeeds a little bit depending on how the client responds. So a lot of people get really caught up in the I need more food to lose weight scenario in the core phase because it's tough and it is a grind, and I think it's just an avoidance measure of getting lean. Now there are things like refeeds that can help us from suffering as much metabolic suppression, and I think that's what's really key to lock in with that core phase because it's the bulk of your prep. And if you're just causing so much metabolic suppression, your body fat's just not going to leave at a fast enough rate that you actually get there.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal point because you can be too aggressive and then leave yourself no room to move. But if you're not aggressive enough in keeping your eye on the ball, you can leave a client in a place where now they just can't make their best condition, and nothing is worse. This is a time for coaches to really pay attention, really manage, and quote, coach. But like you said, it's also a time for you to get to know your client on a physical, personal level in terms of what their body's capable of. Start taking those mental notes of what their body type and metabolism is. And, I've got some great stories of managing people through this phase. And I've got some stories where, in retrospect, I wish I would have been more aggressive or had done different things to experiment and, left them just a little shy of their best. And, nothing is worse as a coach than that.
Right. Absolutely.
So how do you make sure that you're avoiding that? Because you win a lot. I mean, clients come to you because you win big. How do you make sure every single client is getting the attention they need through this majority part of their diet to reach those best results?
It's really trying to get a feel for that client and what they need. Sometimes you push people and they quit, quite honestly. And that's the last thing you want, because having someone not even make it to the stage is like a worse failure as a coach than anything. So really trying to learn the client, make sure they're communicating everything they can, because there's times where you don't realize they're adding calories from like spray butters, condiments, and things of that nature. So again, back to not making knee-jerk reactions when someone's not losing. Still, the last thing I want to do is pull calories. I want to do more investigating to make sure, is everything perfect, especially with macro dieting. I'll say that's the Achilles heel of macro dieting is a few more mistakes can be made versus if you're just stuck with a structured meal plan. So playing a little bit of a diet CSI, as I like to call it, can really pay off and help fine tune a couple hundred calories out of somebody's diet that they didn't know they were consuming, or they just didn't think about it. But a lot of times it's complete innocence. The client you might even have 3 or 4 emails back and forth trying to find the problem. And they're like, oh, I just thought of this drink I was drinking and I didn't realize it had carbs in it.
Yep. And paying attention through this longest part of the contest prep is important. If you look at my history over 25 years and winning almost 500 pro cards and all that, the thing that defines me in my mind are the near misses, the losses, the things that, man, I wish, you know, I would have done a little bit more. And you know, that's what makes the client coach relationship so important, is to make sure that everybody's paying attention all the way through. So in the next episode, guys, we're going to talk about getting up to the hardest part, which is the metabolic set point phase. So stay with us, and we will catch you next time.